Hello! Today we're looking at my favorite watch and I'm forever gonna keep her, and I'm so happy because I have her right here next to me. I've had her for over a year now, and oh yeah, my plan is to keep it for a long time, and then if I'm lucky enough to have kids, and then my kids have kids, so that means that if I have grandkids, my plan is to hand this watch down to one of my grandkids. But until then, it's mine, and I'm so happy. But yeah, one more thing. It's gonna be a lot of unnecessary filming on the boxes and all the things and the equipment. Totally useless, but you're still gonna have to see it. So let's start. So to begin with, if you get an Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch, you will get this cardboard box. Oh yeah, so then when you open the box, you will get one box within the box, like this. So when you have opened this cardboard box, you have this box here. Hopefully I can do this one-handed. You open here, oh yes, and here, and then we get a third box. But firstly, I need to remove this box and show you what you get in here. All right, so then we have removed the box, and in this box number 2, we will have the Omega operating instructions, of course, right here. We have the pictogram. I'm not going to show you the numbers, and we have the international warranty here. Then we have 2 books. We have one book just for the metal bracelet if you want to change it to the bracelet or whatever, and we get this Omega Speedmaster legendary Moonwatch, red sides, and it's just photos of the moon landing and blah blah blah, and yeah, sort of cool stuff. I know, very cool. Yes, and then one more thing before we open the real box. These sort of hinges, or whatever they're called, in aluminium, I have heard, and I'm not sure, but I've heard this, that these are milled from the same sort of aluminium that are or were used in the spacesuits. I think that's pretty super awesome. Alright, then we have opened the things, and we have box number 1, 2, and now 3, and let's go, let's see what's in here. So we open it, and we take away this thing, and then right here we have the Moonwatch. We have this sort of leatherweight that is totally useless, and then in here we have this loop, or whatever it's called, so you can actually try to be a watch dude and fix things. That's here, and then in here I'll show you all the things we have in here. Wait. Alright, it's a lot of mess here now, but here we have the, not useful end links, and we have blah blah blah. Here we have some pins. We have this thing you can look through. We have the original bracelet. We have this pencil that you use for changing the bracelet. We have the Moonwatch with the NATO strap on, and of course we have this huge cardboard band strap that supposedly it was used to put the watch like around the spacesuit when they were on the space missions in the space, of course. I mean, in space, of course. As you might already know, it's 42 millimeters, and very important here, lug to lug. So from lug to lug, it's 48, and that is really great because it makes it wear a little bit smaller than the 42. So that's great. And then of course it's flight qualified by NASA for all manned space missions, as you can see. And it says the first watch worn on the moon, and it says professional Moonwatch. And I have studied up today, so whoops, I studied today, so I'm gonna tell you, probably super uninteresting and boring, but I'm gonna tell you about boring stuff about the Speedmaster that I really find interesting and fun. So then, what's the story about the Speedmaster and its status? Well, there are a lot of different stories about why NASA chose the Omega Speedmaster for their Moonwatch, but the most boring one and the most true one is that in the end NASA said, alright, we need a good tool, a good watch for our astronauts, and please, manufacturers, send us a watch that we can test and try, and we're gonna take the best one. In the end, only 4 manufacturers sent them watches. It was Rolex, it was Omega, it was Wittauer. Today they call it Longines, and it was also Hamilton. Hamilton though sent them a pocket watch, so they were disqualified. So then we had Rolex, Longines, and Omega. Because so the tested watches were, well, an Omega looking just like this one, because they have kept the design the same. It was a Rolex called the Rolex Chronograph Reference 6239. Today more known as the Daytona, and it was the Wittauer Geneve Professional Chronograph 242T. Hopefully I can find you some photos and show you. And they did testing on, well, of course it was supposed to be on the moon, so they tested the durability concerning temperature, so high and low temperature, high and low pressure, high and low humidity, also shock, well, how shock proof they were, and how much they were able to handle acceleration. So what happened? Well, the Rolex stopped twice. That wasn't really good. And the Longines, well, the crystal in the watch warped or got deformed, and then also the crystal just popped out, and yeah, so that wasn't good enough either. But this baby, the Speedmaster, well, it was perfectly fine, but it lost some time. I think it lost some time during acceleration test, and it gained some time during the pressure testing. But they were perfectly happy, and then, well, now you can't really see. But then they put this, well, flight qualified by NASA for all blah blah blah. So then they got the flight qualification, and I just want to really tell you that it still is flight qualified. This piece, as well as all the other pieces, are still flight qualified by NASA. That's very, very important. I also need to say that the first watch that was worn on the moon, I used the caliber 321. A few years later, they changed the caliber to caliber 861. That was actually a more simple movement, but yeah, but easier to take care of, I guess. And then this one in 97, they changed the 861 to the 1861, and this is still flight qualified by NASA. Yes, one more boring fact on the qualification stuff. There are plenty, or I don't know, but there are more than this. There's other watches than this that are flight qualified by NASA, but this is the only watch that is EVA qualified. That stands for extra vehicular activity. Sorry. And that means that this watch is qualified for walking on the moon, or walking out in space, or just like being outside a spaceship when you're in space. Also, I really need to add that yeah, well, on the first moon landing, some sort of timekeeping equipment in the space ship, whatever they were using, was not functioning. So Neil Armstrong, he left his Speedmaster on the thing, but then Buzz Aldrin, guy number 2, actually a watch geek, or like a watch fanatic, or like a watch guy, he was like, I don't really know. He said something like I don't really need to know the time in Houston, Texas. I don't really need my Speedmaster. But of course he popped it on his wrist and he brought it out, and he was the first, well, his Moonwatch was the first Moonwatch to be on the moon, if that makes sense. Enough of history, and let's pop it on the wrist. We have it here, and I really love using the NATO. I know that a lot of people hate the NATO and they think it sucks. Alright people, I really feel like I need to show you the chronograph timing function. So you press this button here, like so, and you start the time. So then you have the big hand, the second hand is moving. You also have, so you have the minutes right here, it goes to 30, and then you keeping track of the hours here. And then on this one, you just have the normal seconds. Yeah. Then when you feel like I have timed enough, or I know the time, or you can use the tachometer here to measure your speed, very important in today's world. You press this thing again to stop, and then you reset here. And when you reset, I'm going to show you speed. Look at this. Boom! Mandatory lume check. We can see that the lume is pretty strong. But here I really need to add something that it used to be tritium-powered fluorescent lume. That means it used to be, well, the lume used to be radioactive. But then for some reason, due to health and safety and whatever, I don't know, in the late 1990s, they took it away, and now I don't know how they make the lume, but it's not radioactive anymore. It sucks and it's a shame, but I guess it's more healthy perhaps. So then finally, why is the Speedmaster special to me? Well, to start off with, I bought it, well, I wanted this watch for many, for like 5 years. It was my absolute dream watch and my favorite watch. So when I graduated school and became an engineer, I bought it to myself as a gift. But more than that, I mean, so I love the history and the heritage, and it's a traveler's watch. It's been to the moon, it's been pushing boundaries, it's been traveling, and it's keeping track of time. And to me, I feel like, of course, it's keeping track of time, but more than that, so I've been studying my whole life until now. And I mostly have been studying in Sweden, but I've also been studying at Lindenwood University in the United States. I took part in semester C, the spring 2014 voyage, where we travel around the globe, and I've also been doing one exchange year in Taiwan. So to me, the watch symbolizes that time is always ticking, but also it symbolizes my travels I did and my studying abroad. And it sounds really silly and stupid, but I really love, it's a traveler's watch. And I love traveling and exploring stuff and adventures, and I kind of feel like this watch is a good explorer's watch because of its history, and it's been on the moon and all that stuff. And I haven't been to the moon, but at least I've been on Earth. I don't know, but yeah, it is still my dream watch, I think. I'm still very happy, and I'm gonna keep it until forever. Alright, bye bye. Guys, I'm terribly sorry. I can see that this video now is more than 12 minutes. That's insane. I'm sorry. And I haven't even said what I wanted to say. I just want to say that every day, every time I wear this watch, it puts a huge smile on my face, and it really makes my day better and my life better. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say. Bye.